Forgot to mute it. What's up, everybody? I'm Ivan Vargas. Welcome back to another Bears show on the best Bears network on the planet. The tape never lies. Don't ever forget it. Before we start, obviously, of course, as always, every show, before you like, share, and subscribe, or make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Make sure you become a patron today at the tapeneverlies.com. And day four is up and done with for the Chicago Bears. We're going to listen to Eric Washington, the defensive coordinator, listen to some of the players. Everything I hear of what's coming out of training camp is been a positive. Obviously, you know how I feel about practice. It's not exactly Allen Iverson, you know what I'm saying? But it's not exactly like it. Like it's not exactly like a practice hero. You know what I'm saying? There's a fine line between how I feel like you should be doing things. It definitely shouldn't be just for 2 hours, though. I'll say that. Like it's something's, you saw how I was last show about the collective bargaining agreement and stuff like that, and how long that could be out there. But regardless of that, it sounds like Caleb is on the right track. It sounds like there's a lot of guys, highly motivated on the defensive side. The cameras are there with Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is, on scene. Any video that you see out there now, from now on, will have HBO Hard Knocks personnel out there recording, monitoring, and doing whatever it is that they do. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. The Friday is the day I get to go ahead and see the Bears for the first time this year. Looking forward to it. I'm going to try to grab as much tape or footage as I can. Going to try to get there really early. I'm going to try to get there really early so I could go ahead and stand pat in the area. I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing majority of the work. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe they've changed how things have gone. I saw some of the in some of the clips I saw earlier today. I saw I saw the stands that they have for the fans now. They just looked like the stands that they had for the families and such. It just, they don't look any different, or there's nothing new. Maybe they are new. Maybe I just saw one clip and I'm judging, but we'll see. But yeah, positive coming out of training camp. Can't wait to be there on Friday. I got a couple more days also after that, so I'll be definitely recording some things and bringing it to the show, and yeah, which it should be fun. So everybody that I see out there, if you do have a ticket, you see me, say what's up. I'll say what's up. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and bring in Coach Washington. We'll hear from him. Obviously, a very vocal guy, very strong personality, a guy that, we said before, demands attention. He just has this commanding, presence to him. And I find it intriguing. I really like it because to me, he has this, it looks like he stands for accountability. Like with everything he does, everything is, like every time he speaks, uses his words very carefully, but he definitely is, serious about football and building this defense into a defense that could be, formidable against some of these top offenses in the league. So let's hear Eric Washington.
Good afternoon. Good to be here. Very happy to have worked through the first, as we call it, the stack of practices, training camp practices, and very, very encouraged, very excited about the way that the players are competing, the way that they're working. And training camp is more than what we see on the field. I mean, there are the meetings, the installation meetings, all of the time that they spend with our coaches in unit meetings, in position meetings. All those things are conspiring together to build the product that we want, the product that we believe we can have, and very encouraging with the progress that we've seen so far. So excited about. I think we've got a 1 day off for the guys. We'll step back and look at everything that we've done and as a coaching staff, just identify some areas that we can improve with the players, give them some feedback with respect to that, look at ourselves critically, and get ready for the next stack. With that, I'll take your questions.
Eric Tremaine said the other day that he's really sensed a belief in this defense about how good they can be. I'm curious, as you came in and got to know kind of the DNA of this group, what you observed in that sense in terms of the confidence they have that can kind of propel them.
Well, I identified that and saw that early on and during the offseason when we started to really transition out to the field. We started working together and we got out of the classroom phase. And it's definitely there. There's a confidence there, but there's also a humility and an understanding that everything that we get, we're going to have to earn. We're going to have to earn. We're going to have to work for it every single day and be excited, have confidence, but at the same time, maintain a certain level of humility to just know we need to continue to push ourselves. So that confidence is definitely there.
What's impressed you most, would you say, in the first 4 practices on defense? I know obviously it's not contact or pads or anything.
The conditioning level of the guys. They did a tremendous job along with our strength and conditioning staff of getting themselves ready to practice during training camp. And that's no small feat because we have to endure the reps and the quick turnaround. And so the conditioning has been outstanding. Credit to the players and credit to their investment. And now you can see that in the form of their effort. I mean, we're running to the ball, especially on the backside, and just really impressed with that.
Austin Booker's getting the
that's a huge positive. That's a huge positive in my eyes because I'll continue to remind you guys this is what we're being fed from the top down. Every rep counts. I'm gonna say it always. It's gonna be a continuous beating of the drum. Every rep counts this year. That's what they want. That's what they've been telling us. So with players having their conditioning up and ready to go, and you have a coach like Eric Washington who's been in the league for a long time, has seen it all, has dealt with guys that are probably going to be in the Hall of Fame as pass rushers. To know that he's hey, they look good, they look conditioned. I'm impressed with that. I like it a lot.
The first team D line, is that kind of experimental, or is there something he did in the offseason program that kind of earned him that kind of look?
Yeah, right now it's just more of a function of the way we're rotating them right now, and just trying to make sure that we give him exposure, but at the same time we continue to build him and move him at a pace that we think is reasonable for his long-term development. And Travis and Brian do a great job of organizing that rotation. Of course, we want to get him exposure, get him on the field with Tremaine, with the other veteran defensive linemen, but it's really just a function of the rotation.
Any early impressions? I know it's early, obviously, really, but anything worth mentioning as far regarding Booker, what he's done?
Yeah, there's a lot of positives. Yesterday was really the first day that we could kind of turn up the pass rush a little bit because we've been kind of working the tempo, if you will. And not that, we're not in pads yet, but I saw a lot of things that I'm really excited about: his hand usage, his ability to counter, and with a pass rusher, especially a young player, just a mindset. He's competing out there and he's competing to win. He's got one objective in mind, and that's to put himself in position to hit the quarterback. So I'm really excited to see that.
Is Jacob Martin going full speed because he played in a similar scheme with Lovie previously in Houston? And how do you evaluate him?
Jacob, great speed and quickness, very athletic. He's an excellent space player, but he's really sturdy at the point of attack. And so those types of things you really need to have. So, we can anticipate his role being as a 3-down defender. So far as a right defensive end, he's doing a nice job. And then the other thing with him, Brad, is just the way that he comes out early to practice every day by himself. And he just starts to mentally tune himself up to go out and put forth the kind of practice he wants to have, to establish himself as the kind of rusher we need him to be.
When pads go on Friday, Saturday, and then you get into that next week, how long does it take you to really evaluate what kind of depth you got for rushing the passer after your Montez, D-Block?
Yeah, well, as far as some of the guys that we're really evaluating, and just really the entire group, the first day won't make or break that. I mean, it just won't. I mean, it's been a long time since this group has played tackle football. I mean, and so the first day won't make or break it, but after the first 2 or 3 practices, I'll have a pretty good sense of where the group is. And also we can identify where we need to kind of grow and who needs what specific work and what we need to focus and hone on in terms of trying to develop the depth. So I'm not making any absolute statements after the first 2 or 3 days, but what we want to do is just make sure we know what we need to do as a staff to develop the depth that we believe we have. If they're here, there's a reason why they're here.
As you've gotten to know Dexter, what's the first thing that jumps out about just his ability on the field?
And focus. The focus. I mean, when Dexter comes on the practice field every day, when he comes into the meeting, for a young player, he's got blinders on. I mean, he is really focused on himself, what he needs to do in that particular practice. We kind of preview what we're going to do on the field the day before. And so I can see that he has taken that meeting outside to the grass. And when he comes into the meeting, he's ready to go. And so the level of focus that he has as a second-year player is pretty uncommon.
I like that. I'd like to hear that. Javon Dexter taking a step. Not saying that he was immature, but taking a step, as a maturing NFL football player, as young as he is, I like to hear that. They've talked about him changing his physical appearance, getting leaner, but looking stronger, looking like, he was already a mammoth of a man, but now he's looking even better physically. Coach is talking about his focus. I'm liking what we're hearing about Javon Dexter. I really hope he has a breakout year. The guy is, with his size, if he can, really get faster and hone his talent, I think he could really devastate some offensive lines. Walter thinks so as well.
Remade his body this offseason. I know you weren't here.
Right.
But what do you make of just the amount of discipline it takes to do that?
For that, you just said it speaks to his level of discipline, his desire to want to be a starter and a highly productive starter, to go away and to stay away and to be to his own devices and have to manage that part of the offseason in terms of, what you consume, how you work, what type of investment you make and what. Really impressed with that, and it's paying off for him. He's quicker. And I have the film to kind of look back, but I wasn't here, but I have the film to kind of evaluate and assess and compare where he was last year as opposed to right now.
Coach, now that you've had time to get to know these players and the personnel up front, what do you envision this pass rush will look like? We haven't seen them in pads, but what are the specialties that you think you can draw out of this group of personnel specifically?
Right. Well, what my vision, I mentioned the very first day I walked into this room that we want to build the best pass rush in the NFL. And that means a pass rush that's consistently effective and that can be relied upon with just 4 guys, affecting the quarterback, hits, sacks, sack fumbles, making the quarterback throw off schedule so we can take advantage of the exceptional secondary that we have. And so there's an individual component to that, and then there's the group component. They have to rush together. They have to understand how to communicate, how to install and affect the different rush concepts that we believe will fit that particular situation. And we got to be relentless. We have to be relentless. And I'm seeing that right now, some really positive signs of that as we've gotten through the first 4 practices.
What stood out to you about the 2-minute drill with the number 1 defense in terms of stopping the offense on, I think it was 3 plays at the 6th?
Right. I mean, it's a gut check. It's a gut check. And listen, you can be in great shape in terms of preparing for training camp. But once you get out on the football field and you're going through individual period, you're going through special teams for those who are involved in that, and you're actually practicing scrimmage plays, that's a different level of conditioning. And so, you're going to see guys that are in great shape get tired playing, competing and playing pro football. And so they have to dig down deep. They've done that. The communication has to be there. You can't give in or yield to that because it's a critical situation. We've got to find a way to close out the game.
Eric Gordon mentioned yesterday that he has aspirations of either being All-Pro, Pro Bowl. In your time coaching him, the brief time, how do you see his play improving or going to that level?
Yeah, well, the fact that he established that as a priority, as a goal, I would not bet against him accomplishing that. So it first starts with, wanting to accomplish that specifically, and then backing that up with the type of work and investment and the mindset that you have to make that a reality. And when I look at Kyler, I just left a pretty good nickel in Buffalo, and this young man is he's got all of the talent, the tools, the mindset, the intelligence to be as good as he wants to be and to be in the discussion of all pro and Pro Bowler. I certainly would not bet against that happening.
Because you've had your hands on.
Now we talked about Kyler yesterday. We talked about him. I feel the same way Coach is feeling. I feel the same way he's feeling. I think Kyler Gordon is poised. He's one of the guys that I've kind of highlighted, in my mind, being a star on Hard Knocks, and not only being a star on Hard Knocks, but taking it into a big time season in 2004 for the Chicago Bears. So I'm very excited. I'm happy Coach is as excited as I am, because it just reinforces that. But yeah, let's see what Kyler Gordon has to do for this season. I'm very excited.
As whether it be this camp or even in the offseason program, what's changed or evolved about what you thought about him as a player, what you thought about his skill set now that you've been up close with him?
Well, he's stronger. He's a lot stronger than I perceived him to be. Very strong player. He understands how to use his length. Montez is a quick study. What we're doing defensively is different than what he's done in his career. So there's some different subtleties and different things, and he's a quick study. He's paying attention. He's picking things up, and he's not afraid, or he's not hesitant. I shouldn't use the word afraid, to ask questions and to say, listen, I want to get this right. What does this mean to me, and how does it fit into the overall construct? So I just love his professional approach. He's extremely talented physically, and then that's a great base and foundation to have, but you got to combine that with some other things. And so
what are the main differences of things that he's doing now that he hasn't been asked to do previously?
Well, without getting into to specifics as far as scheme is concerned, we want to have flexibility. I'll say this: we want flexibility with where we can align him, and we want to utilize his skill set against the offensive line and not just specific to one position. And so,
Gotcha.
So I like first of all, I really appreciate the fact that he's embracing that challenge and just everything that he's doing to just make his game as well-rounded as possible.
How do you
Real quick to Steve's point. Yeah, definitely no nonsense coach. I just feel like and I think, and I'm not in the man's head, but I feel like maybe he will even say it. Like, he seems like he demands the best out of you. Like, he's going to give you his best, right? He's going to try to teach you how to be your very best out there. He's give you all his knowledge, but he's demanding your very best in return. So it's like, yeah, I no nonsense, 100%. I could see that he's a guy that, like I said, he commands respect. As soon as he was signed here and he came to the podium, his first interview, I was like, wow, this guy's, he seems like the real deal. He seems like a great coach. And for anybody that's, the reason why I stopped this and I talk about it, I don't really watch these interviews throughout the day. I'm at work. So majority of the time I'm seeing it for the first time along with the majority of you, maybe not. But yeah, so sorry for the stoppage, but I'm going to at least pause it so you guys can hear the rest of it clearly. But let's get back to Eric Washington.
So how do you size up what's next for Jalen now that he's reached this level? He told us the other day he doesn't want to be second team All-Pro. He wants to be first team All-Pro.
Right.
For a corner who's accomplished so much in 1 year, how do you set goals and I guess check marks for him to reach that next level?
Well, Jalen spoke to that himself, and the thing that comments that he made that I was aware of. Jalen wants to win, and he's accomplished some things individually, but he wants to win. He's solidified himself as one of the top players at his position in pro football. And now it's about taking what he can do and bringing the leadership, bringing the production, and pushing our defensive unit toward an elite status. And so, every time I speak to him, that's what I hear from him. And he knows that we need him to be on the high end of certain production qualities. and just continue to provide that leadership in the direction that he's capable of doing.
All right, that was defensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, Eric Washington. Yeah, I like listening to Coach Washington. I forgot who had said it before, but yeah, he delivers the message clearly. Every time he speaks, like I said, he doesn't really mince words. He's very calculated with his wording. He's very direct. We said no nonsense. Yeah, he's a guy that commands or demands your best, and in return you get his. If he's giving you that knowledge. So love hearing Coach Washington. Love what I heard about Dexter and about Kyler Gordon. Those two guys, are obviously big. It's a big year for not only Chicago Bears, but a lot of these players individually. We mentioned contracts and stuff like that, but it's go time. It really is. Like, if you're hearing it from your GM, you're hearing it from your head coach, you feel like I feel like we got the youth behind us, and we have enough veteran leadership that it just feels like a good mix to me. I feel like playoffs is in play 100%. Well, we'll see where we go after that. But let's go ahead and get to the players now. We got Darnell Wright. We'll talk to Javon Dexter Sr. and also I believe who else we got here. We also will talk to Billingsley as well. Or we'll not talk to him. We'll listen to Billingsley as well. Here we are.
Darnell, what were some of the things you wanted to work on in the offseason coming back into your second year and feeling more comfortable? What did you want to improve on personally?
Personally, I was just improving on understanding, just the general understanding of football, but also the new coaches coming in, some of the new schemes that we'll have, just getting a jump on that. Kind of treating it like another first year, not really, but then some of the terms are the same, but some things are different. So just taking that approach.
Do you feel like that's helped you kind of get going in camp with so many new people around?
Yeah,
Thanks,
I
Gary.
think so.
Is there an eagerness for you to get to Friday where you guys can actually start doing offensive line things in pads and making contact and doing those things?
Yeah. It definitely helps. So we can work on our full range of things. A little bit limited right now, but still can get work done now. But yeah, definitely some more things we can put in our game.
I'm sorry. What has been your early impressions of the offense so far?
What?
Early impressions of the scheme so far, the offense.
I think it's good. I mean, I'm not like an offensive coordinator or something, so I don't know like everything, but I think it'd be good. A lot of things are clicking. Still some things we got to work on, but I think it's going well.
Darnell,
How would
Tevin told us
you
yesterday. Describe Caleb and sort of his cadence and, coming back after a month off and how he's taken back over and what his voice is like for you guys in the huddle.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. It's always hard. Even I remember my first year just getting the cadence. I mean, I know I'm not the one saying it, but just keying into it's a totally different thing from college, from what you did in college. So, it does take a while to get that, but I think he's done a good job just because he's controlling the huddle. He's getting everybody. He's the, kind of the general or whatever of the huddle to get everybody on the same page. So I think he's doing a great job. He's definitely improved a lot, even since when we came back.
Yeah, that's what Tevin said yesterday. He said it's all ironed out. Were you expecting it to come along that quickly, just knowing there were a couple of things to work on from mini camp, and it doesn't seem like it's taken him and you guys long to get up to speed?
I don't think I had any expectations either way, because I understand how hard it is. But yeah, he has done a good job, so I'm happy for him. And
How has it felt? Just I know Flus was talking about some of the false start penalties, just stuff that was maybe expected as the offensive line new quarterback coming in the spring. To not have that stuff show up at the start of camp, what do you think that says about the unit?
I think everybody's handling their business, getting better, and focusing up. Not to say that stuff might not happen. I mean, there's still a lot of time to go, but I mean, as far as right now, it's been pretty clean. I mean, there's a few, but not nearly as many as there was in the spring. So I think it's been good.
Darnell, you went through the ups and downs of being a rookie in training camp last year. How have you seen Caleb navigate that and react to that these first few days?
Yeah, it's kind of similar. I mean, I think all rookies is just a new. It's anything you do that's new, it's going to happen. Even some players that are new to the team here. I mean, you still have a small learning curve. I think he's done. I mean, he's done a great job. You can see him getting better and better and better, more confident, and getting everybody on the same page. So it's kind of like how it goes. He did a good job.
What was the conversation like with him and you guys at the end of that 2-minute drill today when you guys didn't get in?
I'm not sure exactly what was said. I'm not really sure exactly what was said.
What's the process like for you acclimating to the way Caleb kind of navigates the pocket when he's scrambling compared to how Justin Fields did that last season?
I think kind of two different players, but I mean, yeah, they have some similarities where they extend plays and make things happen. I think that's a good trait to have. So yeah, it's just you got to hold your blocks for a longer time. Make sure when the plays get extended out the pocket, you're making sure you don't hold or he gets out of your framework. You gotta let him go or whatever you got to do. But yeah, I think he'll make a lot of plays doing that. So I think it'll be good.
With both you play and Amagaji, just kind of get the hang of stuff. There's a lot of things he can't do right now.
Yeah, I think him. Yeah, he can't do a lot of things right now. So I think for him it'd be big to just be mentally prepared when he's ready and just. Because, I mean, that's all you can really do right now. So, yeah, just being really mentally prepared, locked in, kind of taking like mental reps as we go on. So that'll be good for him.
Darnell, in what ways are you more comfortable in this camp than compared to last camp?
I would say some of the understandings like in protection, understanding, how do I phrase it? Like understanding like the way our protection is set up with like I don't know if I'm going to say too much how it's set up, so I'm trying to word it right. I don't know. I have a better understanding like what my role is in the protection to help the guys around me. Kind of. I don't know. That's the best I can say it really without giving too much.
What do you see in Bates and Shelton in that battle for the center position right now? How are those guys different? What have you noticed so far?
Yeah, they're going at it and they're doing good. I mean, it's funny. It's like they're going at it, but they're helping each other still and helping everybody else. So it's just like, I don't know. Their center is a totally different beast. You know what I mean? So I think both of those guys are doing great.
What does it say about guys that are battling for the same position that maybe they're also helping each other out and trying to not just gunning for your starter?
Right. I mean, that's kind of the trait. That's kind of how it is for a lineman or any position on the field. Really, it's like you might be a 1-2 or whatever behind somebody, but at the end of the day, it's still a team. You want the team to be great. So it says a lot to their character.
How does Nate look? I mean, we didn't see him much during the spring, but he's been the last couple of days. I mean, how having that continuity for you, what does that do for you, and how do you think he looks in this offense?
Yeah, when Nate's there, he's always great. I mean, I think he's looked good. We've been doing good, like we communicating well, working some kinks out that we have. Like, I think it's great.
Thank you.
Okay. That typist. Where's Bob to fucking bitch about the typist so I don't have to? Yeah, like it seems like the typist, the guy who's typing or the person who's typing has a microphone all to themselves, and we can't get microphones for the media. But anyway, we'll move on. That was Darnell Wright. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt, Joseph. It's just like, he obviously looks tired. But yeah, he seems like a chill guy. Like, I'm sure he's a mauler. He's obviously a mauler on the football field, but right now he just seems like, just chilling, doing my job, like trying to get things settled. So, the way he said when Nate's there, when, well, let's see. I don't want to. Obviously, it's a big question mark, Nate Davis, and is he going to be able to stay healthy? Is he going to be there, at all? But we'll see. He had a lot of, personal issues last season. with the loss of his mother. I can't. I'm not gonna. Like I said, I'm not gonna be that guy that's like, "What, your mom?" Like, come on. I mean, the Olympics. I know I kind of got on Owens for the Olympics yesterday, but he's obviously was affected by that loss. So I would give him somewhat of a pass, I guess, for that. But now it's time to go, and I don't want to hear any more like Nate Davis is out for some BS reason, or he's taking a practice off for some BS reason. If it's serious, that's one thing, but let's finally get all of our fans and settled that Nate Davis is going to be there, and we can trust and rely that he's going to be the right guard throughout the season. So let's go ahead and move on. Next up is Javon Dexter.
So we heard you did the defensive end conditioning test instead of the defensive tackles.
Right.
Did you train for that in the off season?
I just train. I try to get in marathon shape, and running with the ends. They run a little longer with less time, so I felt like my body was ready to do that. So
What does training look like to get into marathon shape?
Running, hills, track. It's something called like a strongman workout. That's for bigger men. All those things, eating right, eating habits, all of those things is.
It's the first time you've done that in an off season.
Correct. Yeah, it was.
Why did you want to do that? Why did you want to push yourself that way?
Just because, man, I've noticed that the good ones can do it one or two plays, but the ones that end up that go down as great ones are consistent in being able to play 1 through 4th quarter. So that's why.
Make changes to your diet too?
I did, yeah.
What did you do?
Just I linked out some things. I took out some things. I took out like late night snacks. So, for example, if there was something that I usually have later at the night while I'm rounding up the bed, I would probably cut it out or do something that was a little healthier for me. So things like that.
How different do you feel?
Say it again, please.
How different do you feel?
A lot different. Yeah, I feel like I can move around easier. I can go longer. So I feel a lot different.
What was the toughest thing to cut back on and take out?
I would say that late night snack, man. It's different things that I would eat, and I just like, man, I'm like one honey bun won't hurt me, and right. So yeah, just I cut that out, and now I feel a lot better.
When you came back to camp, was there any like huge difference in your weight or your body fat? Like, how does it show up in like those numbers?
I mean, you could kind of look at me and tell, but other than that, I lost a lot of body. I lost some body fat. I gained some lean mass, and then just those numbers show with a defensive tackle running with the defensive end. So,
What were the numbers?
I don't know the exact numbers yet.
How did you finish with that group? Were you at the front of it?
Yeah. I was in the front of the pack, right with the group. So yeah.
Coach Washington said you had an uncommon focus for a guy in his second year. What does that mean to you, that level of focus, and sort of what goes into that?
Just knowing where I'm at and believing in that and trying to like understand that I have a role on this team and trying to be there for my teammates, and just me being young. I noticed, like I said, I've noticed early, and I'm very blessed to being able to notice early that if you do these things right, this is what happened for you. And I'm glad I caught on to that early, and so that's what.
How do you increase your focus? That doesn't seem like something you can just flip a switch and do.
It's a good question. Bare truth.
Just knowing, like, just locking in, seeing the guys around you. I think having a guy like Montez in my room is like highlights that. You know what I mean? I get to see that in my room, like 2 chairs, 3 chairs next to me. So having a guy like that you can look to right there, and he's at where you want to be at, that helps it as well.
Something about what he does that shows the focus.
Right, exactly. Yeah, everything he does, coming in early, hot tub, cold tub, all of those little things that he does. If I see him doing something, I'm going to do the same thing because he's having the success that I want.
You know the importance of the 3 technique position and
Right.
this defensive identity between your comfort as a rookie developing last year and also now the changes you made. How would you describe the differences in your ability to play that role?
It's a lot different. Like I said, being leaner helps me get off the ball faster. Being leaner helps me penetrate faster. So a lot of those things that now, like you said, the three technique role, I can do a little easier because I'm able to. My body is allowing me to do it.
You talked about the feeling that changes. Do you feel the changes when you're getting off the ball now?
Sure, 100%. Yeah.
How do you feel about the added responsibility that the team is putting on your shoulders as the guy at three technique?
It's the same for me. I've been like I said, I set my goal as soon as I got here that I wanted to have my name on those walls when you walk in. So that's been the same goal for me, and I knew stuff was going to come with it, and it's been the same for me.
Javon,
I love the mentor, man. The more, and that was, it was a huge question mark with Javon. Like, even though we took him in the second round, you've heard Shane and Phil talk about it. The question mark about how, he's going to acclimate himself to the NFL. How is he going to, perform? What is he going to do to get better? I'll tell you what, this is a good freaking start. You know what I mean? Going ahead and someone said they dropped the baby fat from his face. Yeah, he's looking leaner and meaner. And, for a guy who has set obviously a lofty goal, to being one of the guys on the walls of Hallis Hall, that means you're probably have your number retired or you're, one of in a ring of honor or something like that. I'm sure. But yeah, I love the attitude. I love how Javon has come out this season. Can't wait. All these guys, every time I hear somebody, I can't wait to get to Friday, but I truly can't wait to see them in real live action. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it is preseason, but just live action, let's see them, go at it. Let's kind of see a little bit of what we're going to get, or hopefully we'll get in the regular season.
How do you think as a group, your pass rush is going to be better this year?
It'll be better by my knowledge. Last year I would win some one-on-ones just because of my athletic ability, and now I'm gonna win some one-on-ones because I know when I'm getting the slide, I know when I'm getting the turn protection, and so now I'm able to use my athletic ability as well as my knowledge for the game. So putting those two together is gonna allow me to win.
How about your whole defensive line?
Right.
How are you all collectively going to have a better rush this year?
Just like I said, we've been together for a little longer. Montez has been here. We had the whole camp, and we've had the off season to work together, and then adding guys like Zach in there, adding guys and being able to rush together for a whole nother year, a couple months, will be a lot better.
Last offseason, you had to go to the combine, get ready for the draft.
Right.
The draft, you have to learn a whole new thing.
Exactly.
Just this offseason, just being able to focus on you getting ready for this team. How more freeing was that?
Man, it was huge for me. Like I said, having that last offseason, it was more so, all right, now you just got drafted, you just did combine training, you did all of those things, and then now boom, here's the playbook, and you kind of get it. But now it's this offseason, I already know what defense I'm running. I know the playbook. I know all of those things. So now I can focus on doing the stuff to get my body in shape, being able to, like I stated, like knowing where the slide is coming from. So all of those things are like now it's not I've heard it several times now. So now I know exactly where it's coming from.
Javon, your transition from like a two gapper to a one gapper, does that feel like it's in the past?
Yeah, that's way. Yeah, that was.
So there's like no habits or hurdles you got.
No.
Justin Jones was one of your biggest advocates last year. What kind of lessons are you trying to implement from him this year on the field without him?
With Justin learning, he was one of the guys that I think helped me grow up as a young D tackle. So just seeing how he carried himself on and off the field, and how he prepared for games, how he prepared for practices, how he took care of his body. So he definitely helped me grow up a little faster.
What's the toughest thing that you had to adjust to, going from that two-gap system to the penetrating system? And now that you know where you need to go, how much more do you think you could accomplish this season?
I would say the biggest thing for me was the feeling of it. Like in college, like you said, I played that two-gap system, so we would pad back. And then now when they're telling you, all right, just go, I'm like, damn, am I doing it right? So now when I know what it feels to, you know what I'm saying, just get vertical and penetrate and disrupt. So
what would that do for you now, having that feeling, understanding the field coming into this season?
Words can't even describe it, man. Because like I say, that's my body type. My style of play was a penetrator, a disruptor, and I was in a defense that I couldn't do that. So I kind of, you know what I'm saying, had chains on, and now they're off.
All this work that you've done, pads go on this weekend. How eager are you to
I can't wait.
see it actually play out?
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm ready.
The play on Saturday, like when you blocked the ball, like we weren't sure if you tipped it or not, like did that, I don't know how to phrase this, but it just feels like since you're so big, like you don't have to almost exert as much effort to have a play like that. How did that feel to you, and how do you feel like you can use your size as an advantage against, you know?
Yeah, see, that's another thing that I learned. I think last year I would get some of those plays where I'm the middle push guy, where I'm the guy who's got the slide and got that double team in the middle of a rush, and I would try to fight that up. Or now I'm gonna push the pocket, get my hands up, I'm blessed to be 6'6", and getting the hands up makes it harder for a quarterback to see his check down.
Did you tip it, or was it just hit you in the chest?
No, I tipped it. Yeah.
Flu said it hit you in the chest, so I thought you tipped it.
No, I tipped it. Yeah.
What do you feel you can accomplish individually this season now through all this?
I can be who I want to be. And that's the sky's the limit for it. And that's every goal I want to do. That's every goal I want to hit. And it'll be good for me if I do it exactly what I said.
Last one here. With the numbers, we can see the effect that Montez had on the team when he got here. But you personally, how much of an effect did it have on your game, and how much of an effect starting with him here is going to have on the season?
Yeah, it's huge, man, having a guy like that, because he's a multiplier. So when you have a guy like that, when you have an edge rusher, and sometimes the center may whistle line to Montez like automatically. So they don't care where 3x1, 2x2, they don't care where Mike is. They're sliding to him. So when you have a guy like that, that's gonna he's gonna create so much attention. You kind of get those one-on-ones, and then as well as when he's winning those one-on-ones, and you're the guy who's pushing the pocket. Sometimes the quarterback may just fall in your lap when you have a guy like that that's rushing the edge, and being in that right spot with a guy like that it'll help.
Last one right here.
Coach Washington just mentioned moving Montez around a little bit. Just the element of surprise for a team that not necessarily prepared for him in one spot this year. What would that do?
Yeah, it'll do a lot, just because when you have a guy who can play the whole line, it'll create one-on-ones. Like I said, if he's at the nose, they're gonna know where 98 is on the field. So when you have a guy like that, if he's at the one take, well, he's getting the slide, and you have a guy at the 3, he's gonna get the one-on-one. So you know that now.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Appreciate y'all.
That was great stuff from Javon Dexter. That last part, I really liked him explaining, the roles and what what can happen, and how setting up the defense themselves, for setting up one guy picking up the double team, and then the other guy, going ahead and picking up the one-on-one, getting an opportunity to get after the quarterback. I really love that. Cody, thank you. Just because you're working so hard there, I'm trying to do what I can do. I appreciate you trying to do what I can do. I would love to be there every day, but I think honestly, I think I'll be honest. I think politics gets involved when it comes to giving out some of these credentials. Not gonna bitch about it. Not gonna cry about it. It's probably the last time I even mention it. But it's hard doing the work when you're limited with certain things. So I appreciate you, dude. I appreciate you, Cody. All right, let's go ahead. Our last interview of the night, and I'm going to wrap things up because I want to watch the rest of this Cubs game that's getting interesting here. If anybody cares, it's 0-0 in the top of the fourth, 1 man on, 1 man out. So let's go to Billingsley.
What has struck you about the biggest difference in Javon now compared to last year?
I love that sweater.
Get off, man. He's really improving on his get off, man. We're taking it slow with him. Just got to practice his get off, and then we'll work on to the next things because he's up now. So it's his time.
Obviously, his body is very noticeably different. What was your impression when you first saw him come back and look different and everything that he described to get?
He just looked better. He just looked more leaner and all that. I don't know. I wasn't really looking at his body. I'm more about like the play style now. But I've seen his get off change. That's the biggest thing I've seen. So I guess that translated from what he's done in the offseason.
What has it meant to you to be in the same place, the same city for 2 consecutive seasons, not moving from team to team.
That's pretty good. I get to stay in the same defense for 1 year. That's pretty much the biggest thing. I feel like, all right, I can make a step forward now. This year I can do something better. I don't have to just learn something new. So that's nice.
That's too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the contract's nice as well. Yeah,
It's been like working with Eric Washington so far.
good. He got D-line in his blood, so it's all translated in that room.
He was talking about moving Sweat around a little bit more, and that's something Sweat hadn't done before.
Yeah.
What's the benefit to everybody else on the line?
Offensive line don't know where to go, and we know exactly where they're going to go. We know, hey, he's going to be on this side. All right, well, I know I got the one-on-one if I'm on this side now. The offensive line, they're going to have to flip the whole call because he's going to be somewhere else. And that's, I think, you see players like that on defenses. That's something the defense has to grow around, but we're going to do that.
When you guys talk about Coach Washington having that D-line expertise, how does that show up to you on a regular basis?
Just his little notes, his little, hey, do this, do that. It's just, the more the better. We got a D-line coach. He does a great job, hell of a job. But with him, he just comes up, pull you aside, hey, do this, do that. It's just, he pays attention to every little detail of every individual so our coach can focus on the D-line.
Andrew, you always hear about iron sharpening iron at this time of year. I'm curious, just some based on what you've seen so far. Do you get a sense that when the pads come on, you're going to get more resistance from this offense with this quarterback than you've had before?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're scheming it up for us this year, especially with our move calls and all that. I think we just have to bring it. Just go full speed when we put those pads on, and that's what's going to sharpen each other.
You're the guy who's been messing with Caleb's cadence early in the offseason. How have you seen him kind of grow from the offseason program to now?
With his cadence? Oh, it's sharper. It's sharper. It's more precise. We've been giving him that move call and messing up his offensive line, and he's taking notice of that. So now he's calling more hard counts and all that. So that's really helped us out there, and I think it's going to show in the game as well.
Is there an art to doing that in a game setting?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Are you in trouble?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that for the public.
You also have a unique perspective on the center competition line up right
Yeah.
in front of them. What do you make of that competition between Shelton and Bates?
Oh, we got two different body types. We got one quick guy, one really strong guy. That competition is going to come down to the consistency. Just do what they do best and use that to be consistent. That's all I can say.
Does it matter to you that one is left-handed and one is right-handed? Does that change what
No, I don't really care about that, but only in pass rush maybe. That might change up on what I do, but left, right, that's just fine. Just got to use whatever hand's free the best. That's it.
One of the guys in the trenches, what changes Friday when the pads come on and you guys get into those ones and it's more real football than
Right.
January?
What changes is how we're going to play as defensive linemen. We are really going to focus on getting vertical. We don't have we don't put our helmets in nobody's chest right now, but we get the pads on it. We got to give them game-like reps, and you got to do that throughout the whole preseason. Then we'll tone it down during the season.
How eager are you for that, knowing that it's kind of been a little bit more to some extent?
Yeah, no, it's D-lineman, O-lineman, we can't do what we do in the summer. Like DBs, they go out there and do all their little stuff, and the routes are full speed. We need this. This pads is something serious before we get to the games, yeah.
How exciting is this season for you, knowing all the guys that they added, a lot of them on the other side of the ball, but and that there's an expectation of this team that might not have been here when you signed a year ago?
Yeah, it's very exciting because we have direction last year. Don't get me wrong, we always want to win games. That's always the direction we're going in. But now we see like, okay, this is where we were. Now we know where not to be. We gotta be better than that. And that's something that we didn't get last year, especially me coming in. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna do the best I can. Now I can do better. That's the difference.
Have you gotten to know Caleb on an individual level much since he got here?
Yeah. Actually, we actually talked a little bit, seen each other in restaurants. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Cool guy.
He left an impression on you as a guy that he's 22 and he's coming into a city that has grand expectations.
Yeah. I think the best thing for him, from my own opinion, because I'm not a quarterback, is he's positive. And I think that's something a quarterback has to be. When the lights are off, you got to be positive. When the lights are on, when we're up, when we're down, I feel like things are going to roll off his shoulder and we'll be able to keep going throughout the game.
What do you make of what he's going to be as a leader once he kind of gets his feet fully under him? He said he was going to listen first and then lead. What do you make of how he's going to be as a leader?
I think he's going to be the type of leader that, he's never going to dog somebody. I don't think he's on, I don't know. Yeah, in 10 years down the line, he might become, a dogger, but I think he's going to be more of a positive type leader. He's going to say, hey, come on, let's go. Let's keep going. If you mess up in a place, like, all right, next play. I think that's something. He's going to have a lot of poise. I think that's the biggest thing for him. I think that's great.
and Justin Jones kind of took Javon Dexter and Zach Pickens under your wing last year. With him gone, have you taken more of a leadership role in that regard? And then what are your expectations for Zach this season?
Yeah, with him going, I think Dexter's looking for a 3 technique. I try to help him as much. I'm playing 3 technique a little bit this year too, so I'm learning as I'm going. And you know, it's we got new rookies, you know, new guys that are hungry. So I gotta, you know, we gotta keep up with them. So Dex and Zach, you know, they're kind of a little bit more on their own this year, but I think they have it where they can improve themselves. They don't need me in their ear all the time. And what was the second part of that?
Expectations for Zach this season? It's kind of flown under the radar throughout camp so far.
Oh no, look, Zach is gonna be playing 3 of those too. So you're get to see some of him. He has a good get off. And I think you're gonna get to see that coming from him too. He's gonna be real vertical this year. I think it's gonna be more of his play style this year for sure.
What's the secret to moving from nose to 3 for you?
Oh, for me, it's honestly more weight on my hands. It knows I'm hands first, and I just gotta focus on just blowing up the guard now instead of the center. Really.
Good fun.
Yeah, I like it. It's less rules like that. That's for sure.
What's your impression of playing with a defense that likes to be loud?
I mean, I don't mind it. I like it. I'm not a loud guy, so somebody gotta get us going. So I like it because I'm not the one. So I like it.
Thank you.
All right, that was awesome. You got to hear a little bit about Caleb, and you know they've talking about him at the end transitioning, you know, to that 3 and just focusing on blowing up the guard now. So I look, got a lot of good information there. Caleb Williams, the leadership that has been like obviously infectious here. Like you see a guy, a veteran like Billingsley, talking about him that highly, you know, and how positive he is, how he expects things to roll off his shoulder. You know, like you said, he doesn't know people change, you know, time changes, people changes, everything, you know, but to have that, I think is very important. And for guys to see that you're not going to be phased by just anything. Like it takes, you know, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than that to fade, you know, somebody talking shit or you know, a fucked up play or something like that to get Caleb Williams rattled. And look, man, I'm very excited about it. He also mentioned Javon and Pickens, and I'm excited about it all. I really, really was intrigued about how he was talking about Caleb Williams. So I want to, you know, you continue to hear a lot of his teammates talk about him in high regard now. And even though he's just fresh on the scene, the progressions that he's been making, they talked about, you know, in his cadence, how he's getting sharper, how he's not, you know, he's taking note of how the defense is trying to manipulate his cadence and the offensive line. So very exciting stuff. You know, I actually really enjoyed that last interview with Billingsley. So, but nonetheless, you know, looking forward to tomorrow, seeing what's in store then, you know, what happens then, how guys are feeling. And then of course on Friday, you know, or tomorrow we have I'm kind of losing my days here. Tomorrow is Wednesday. So we will have Keep It at 100. We'll have you know, I don't know if anybody has seen the promo, but Cars will be back. So Cars will be on the show. We'll be talking, you know, they'll be talking Bears. It's just an exciting time. So tomorrow, Keep It at 100. Thursday, I'll probably be back, and I'll probably end up doing the Wednesday, and so day 5 and day 6 if they're gonna put guys up at the podium. I'll be up there, and then Friday, of course, there will be a show that night after I get done, you know, going to training camp. I'll see Jose out there. We'll see Ron G out there. Hopefully a couple more people as well. So it should be a blast. But I will have a show that night. We're going to have some clips, hopefully, to show you. We'll see who has, you know, we'll see if anybody else has phones. We'll try to get everybody with their cameras out, get in some type of angle for you. We'll work something out. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me. Before we get out of here, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network. Make sure you become a patron today if you are not at www.thetapeneverlies.com. Everybody have a good night, And hopefully this Cubs team freaking pulls it off, because it's getting me nervous here. It's getting me nervous here. But anyway, have a good night, everybody. Peace.